Hey everyone, this is Boom.
And I'm Spice. We got another very special guest on the podcast. Been rolling out the hits with professional writer, friend of the family, frequent guest now, with Danny. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, thank you. How are you guys?
We're doing great.
Couldn't be better.
Heard you got some homemade poetry for us.
Yes, I do. I got one more to share.
Oh, fantastic. Well, you can unleash it upon on the podcasting world when you get the chance. Unshackle it.
Absolutely. Would you like me to go first?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So I always said, you won't believe me if you ever heard my first poem that I shared in the podcast, that I rarely write about romance, but I'm going to throw out a second love poem at you if that's okay.
Oh man,
We'll take it.
Right.
You're walking a fine line.
No, cheesy.
our non-existent rules for the podcast.
Yep.
It's just been no plagiarism and avoid swearing.
Sounds good.
Exactly.
So this one is titled Love. Love is a daily, momentary feeling. Can a first-time confession be said between sips of tea, grinning over paper towels as we clean a spill, I love you. He picks an eyelash off my cheek, he whispers, I love you. In the walk-in closet, he is stuck in his sweaty gym shirt, arms up, belly out. I help him and his face is revealed, I love you. The omelets burn again, a whisper and a hug, I love you. Months pass with no admission, only existing as a thought. In little moments can a word unsaid lose its power, I love you. Is a special occasion necessary? Do I want you to know I love you? That's it.
I like that a lot. I'd like to see it expanded. I like the idea of you're getting these glimpses. I like the idea of having just a little bit more, where it's like all these are interesting. Like you got this little carousel of like cool little tidbits. I like the idea of just taking it and putting a microscope on a couple of them.
That's a lot like I did that one recently, like the everyday novels of love or something like that.
Yeah.
And I only had just a little bit, because I'm like, well, we're used to, big shows of love, but it's the everyday things that like really count towards the relationship. And I just had like the one thing, like, fighting over where to keep socks or something like that. and that's something I'm still working on, is like expanding that out, because I do like the pieces a lot.
I enjoyed that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, that's really neat because when working on this, I was like, is it too many examples? Is it, but each of them I saw as important in their own way. So I really like that, and I'm excited to kind of take that lens now and kind of look at it again.
Yeah, I'm not saying like decrease the amount.
Right.
Just take it.
Like the expansion.
Yeah, spend a little more time on each, and I feel like it takes the reader from like it's like a snapshot into more of like a montage where you progress. Okay. I think they're both valuable, so maybe keep that as one, and then sort of take that same framework and expand it in a separate one. Because I'd hate for you to ball that up and be like, "Well, that's garbage."
Oh, yeah, no.
No, that was good.
Thank you.
All right, Boomski, do you want to go next or me?
Yeah, I'll go right ahead.
Ah, sweet.
This is called Christmas Trees. Why do some people leave their Christmas tree up all year? Are they clinging to the holiday spirit? Are they afraid that if they take down that tree, they relinquish their own sense of merriment until next year? Maybe they just like the light it gives off, for they are bright, and that way you don't have to use a lamp to make it back up the steps at night. Perhaps they want to exude happiness, and what better way to showcase proudly a symbol of that happiness all year long? Well, I can't speak for all of us, but as someone guilty of leaving my Christmas tree up all year, I must confess, I do it not for the reasons above, but more so because I simply haven't gotten to it.
I love that. That is easily my favorite boom poem thus far. It's like I really enjoyed the fish one. I really enjoy your poetry a lot, but that's my favorite boom poem thus far. Like, on leaps and bounds, I feel like you've gone. Because it's not merely, like, your grasp on symbolism's fantastic, but it's not just that. It's entertaining unto itself. and I wish I had gone first, because man, I hate following that act. This is I enjoyed that quite a bit, buddy. I'm
Thank
glad
you.
you brought
Thank
it to
you.
the. This is not a potluck, a traditional potluck. I'm glad you brought it to the table.
I'm glad you liked it.
I love the just the voice and questions. So it's very talkative, but you do not forget or lose specific details. Like, to me, what really grounded the poem and made it very real was the, lighting your way up the stairs.
Yeah.
And that just put it so much into real life, and it just made it seem more concrete as a poem to me.
Mhm.
Instead of just these wondering ideas, which they were not just wondering ideas, but it just, that really drove it home for me.
Yeah, I have, over there, my small Christmas tree that I drew the inspiration from, and that's totally true. I mean, like, I don't have to worry about leaving that lamp on, because, I mean, this place gets dark when these two lights are off, and it's my little hallway light.
That's great. That is my favorite boom poem.
But I do tell people, like, I intend to put it away, because people are like, isn't it weird? Like why? It's not even big. You can just put that in a closet. Hey, I'll get to it.
Eventually.
It will take you 10 minutes to put away, but no, I understand.
Yeah, well, and
Don't even have
that's
to
why I
know
went
lights.
into that, all that, those questions where it's like, am I clinging to something? Like, is that time of the year, that important to me? It's like, I don't know. I don't know. I haven't put it away yet.
I just don't want to put it away. I'm not feeling it. Boom, I really admire that poem. I like that quite a bit. And man, to follow up two fantastic poems, I'm doing another one where I took a painting and I took inspiration from it. This is called Envisioning Myself in Van Gogh's Cafe Terrace at Night by Spice. The warm walls, seemingly colored by the reflecting lamplight, are an inviting shade of yellow. The way it contrasts with the rich blue sky, illuminated by stars, makes the terrace seem hive-like by comparison. It's a place where people are buzzing in and out, walking in the street and drinking the night in. I'd like to be a silhouette in that doorway, an implication of energy, foreshadowing a dance to join indoors. I'd love to step onto the terrace and take a drag and then rejoin the fracas implied beyond the orange windows and doorways. I want the warmth of the palette to fill my lungs and pump through my veins. I enjoy that I enjoy that painting a lot. I like the idea of walking on that street and seeing everyone dancing inside the sort of chaos that's happening, and it's implied in it where you just see a little silhouette in the door frame. You're like, there's more people in there.
That was wonderful, and you truly paint the painting with your words. You give us the colors first, and you also continue the colors at the moment. The yellow and blue up front, and then eventually the orange comes back in. And I really like your active word choice. Like, every word you did choose is giving more and more to the picture. The drinking, the dancing, the step you take, and hive and buzz was very appreciated. That matches those green yellow tones.
Mm-hmm.
Orange and yellow. And with the mentions of all those colors, like at the end you close with saying this palette that is presenting.
Yeah.
That was really nice.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
This might be the strongest 3-poem roster we've put together.
Yes.
That could totally be.
Certainly my favorite boom poem. I
Mm-hmm.
am truly impressed, my friend. I'm very happy you showed me that poem.
I appreciate that. I was pretty happy too.
I don't like to deliver faint praise on the podcast. Like I critique Bam in a very soft way often, because it's like, sometimes he'll hit close to the mark and not quite get it.
Right.
I like to push him in the right direction rather than having him be placated by praise that's sort of half-hearted. So I say this with absolute sincerity, how much I appreciate that poem.
Thank you. Yeah, this was definitely one where I had to step outside of my normal scope. I think that's definitely the longest poem I've ever written and shared. And then, with posing the questions and stuff, I wasn't sure how that would sound as I said it.
It's the funniest you've ever brought to the table, for sure.
I think so too. I don't think I've ever put much comedy in any of my poetry.
Your haiku about birds and comparing them to planes.
That's true. That's
that
true.
one was meant to be funny, and it was, but it wasn't as like I was keeping myself from laughing when hearing you talk about it. Like the people, the conjecture that happens where they're like, why won't he put it away? Does he just want to cling to that Christmas spirit?
Yeah, I like that line a lot. That one felt good writing. They relinquish their merriment for the rest of the year.
Now, when crafting the poem, was that your intention to make those parts funny, or did it kind of just happen?
Once I got into that, lines like that, because I didn't like, that's been another like constant in my poetry, is it's always like, it's not so much dark, but it's like, it's not happy.
Mm-hmm.
And with this one, I went into it trying to be lighthearted. I'm like, well, Christmas tree, those are nice. But then also, I mean, like, I guess at the start of it, I went kind of back into the whole, like, it's like, is that something that they need? And I was like really, really close to bringing it back to like, it's because they feel emptiness during the other times of the year. So like they cling to Christmas and holidays and lights, but then I decided to, I use it to light my way up the steps.
And you brought it back to reality.
Yeah, because that's exactly why I have a Christmas tree up right now. Like, I haven't taken it down for one, and because it does make a pretty useful light.
And I wouldn't say like, I literally went back to those ideas, but like I wouldn't say it's like a negative writing technique because that added so much depth to it. It wasn't just happy-go-lucky Christmas tree, it's up all year. Like some things were considered and weighed here.
Yeah.
So it seems like a more personal connection than narrator had with themselves, or you had.
Yeah.
Yeah, by saying like, oh man, I put up the Christmas tree because I'm sad in June. That doesn't feel organic.
Yeah.
Because I don't look at a Christmas tree and get instantly gleeful. Like
Yeah.
that's not a reaction humans have, but it's one you could derive from it from a windowsill potentially.
Yeah.
Glad you teased that a bit, but just the practical use of it. It's a light. It's a light that happens to resemble a tree. That's just a funny thing. It's like using a lamp light all year round, or like not like the leg lamp from a Christmas tree all year round.
That was a tough line for me to get to sound right for some reason, because I knew I wanted to use it, but I said light like earlier or something like that, and I just could not like think of words. But it worked out. I was like in the middle of work, like sitting in my car at my lunch break.
That's the best.
This is it.
Yeah, I love that.
Awesome.
All right, fantastic. Any closing thoughts? I think that about wraps it up. Thanks again for coming. I
Excellent
appreciate
episode.
Thank you.
I'm very happy about this episode. This is probably the best homemade poetry we've done since that one where Boom and I sort of loomed over the specter of mortality and waxed poetically about it. Very similar tones, though, of course. Yeah, just like the Christmas tree lamplight, of course.
Yeah, obviously.
And on that gleeful note, I've been Spice.
She's Danny, and I'm Boom, and we will see you next time.